I had debated on what to go into today. I seen that this judge has released Abrego Garcia, and let me tell you something about these little communist judges. Matter of fact, you know what I am? I'm going to go into it briefly. I'm going to do a more in-depth dive on episode 2, but communism did not die in 1990 or 91. See, in 1928, the communists realized that they had declared that the racial differences between our people constituted the weakest point in our social fabric. They had calculated that if they could poke, prod, and even rip open that cloth, that they could have Americans divided against one another, weaken America as a whole, and even coming against one another in open combat. Okay? And they used the race for many decades, but now they have found something new. Immigration. They still throw their race baiting in there, off and on. You see it here and there when they see it's, but they know people sick of that shit and caught on to it now. But now it's the immigration. These district judges, okay, they have no power to do what they are doing. No authority. Their authority is to what district they are judging over in whatever state they're in. They are inserting themselves into the executive branch and dictating immigration law and telling the president of the United States what he can and cannot do when they have no power to do as such. Now, this is all the same all over the world. You see it. You see the lawlessness happening. And see, this is the Gramsci faction of the communists. See, Antonio Gramsci was an Italian communist. He was so radical. Mussolini threw him in prison. Okay? And when Woodrow Wilson was there in 1913, Woodrow said, one of the most despised, I cannot stand Woodrow Wilson. I have a hard time reading his writings. But he was a communist as well. And it took 122 years for the first communists to come in and start destroying. He was the one that gave us the income tax. He's the one that gave us the Federal Reserve. And then he was the one that started the war against America in the judiciary. See, Gramsci said that, no, Marx didn't do it right. You have to do it from the top down, from the judges down, is how you have to have the revolution. See, it's always a revolution with the communists. They could be in power 20 years, and it's still the revolution. It's always a revolution. People are such low IQ or brainwashed and can't understand what our founders wrote. And you think I like reading communist literature? I despise it. Manning Johnson is another one. He wrote Color, Communism, and Common Sense. He was a devoted member to the Communist Party. And he truly believed that the Communist Party was going to better the lives of his people. So he went in and rose up through the ranks, and eventually he became a high-ranking member of the Communist Party. Well, it wasn't until later on that he seen the true nature of the Communist Party. See, Moscow wanted black bloodshed back when Moscow was in power, when they had Soviet Union. So, excuse me. They and when he seen that, he realized the true nature of these people. So he disavowed the Communist Party, and he spent the remaining years of his life alerting his fellow citizens of all races to the true nature of the Communist Party. And he, like I said previously, he wrote Color Communism and Common Sense. But back to the what the communists have also realized now about the immigration. See, they're using this just like they did race, but to a extent to where it's just complete lawlessness. And it's like that all over. And it's by the Soros group so that they can rule through social credit score, and you can live in your little 10 by 10 cubicle, get fed roach milk and bug protein, and you just be a happy camper, won't you? Let me tell you something, these people are not going to stop, man. And Congress, they have the power to abolish these judges' court. Thomas Jefferson, when he became president, John Adams had 13 judges. It was either 13 or 14. I think it was 13. 13 judges that were put in, like Biden did, illegally. And as soon as Thomas Jefferson was sworn in, Congress immediately abolished all 13 of their seats because they were wrongfully put in and to hinder his administration. Just like how the Communist Party up there in Congress did. Let me tell you something. These people call themselves Democrats. They are not. See, back during Manning Johnson's time, they called themselves the Revolutionary Action Movement. RAM for short. Now, it's the Democratic Socialist Movement, okay? You cannot be a Democrat and a socialist. And the whole socialist is just communism. They twist words. They love to control the language, okay? That is one thing a communist loves. They love to twist and pull on words and make them change definitions. They love to do that to keep people confused, and the lower IQ, low information voters, and the just all around idiots, just to believe it. And Congress is just, I'm actually lost for words. I mean, I shouldn't expect nothing, anything different. And see, here's the thing, they know what they're doing. They don't care about their voters. Let me tell you one person who does, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me tell you another one, Thomas Massey. Those are the only two I can actually for sure name. All the others, they care about laundering their money, our tax money, through Ukraine, through Venezuela, the drug cartels, back to fucking Washington in their bank accounts. And then they worry, then you get an inbox flooded full of donation flyers about the election coming up, like I have, and text messages. See, now it's, they'll get a hold of you now because all they care about is their election and laundering our tax money and putting it in their pocket. But back to the communists. See, there was a pamphlet written, I believe it was called The Crusader, and it told these people, the communist sympathizers, of how to do things. It showed them, they basically what these people are doing now, they just by me watching the videos they do and the shit they do, they have read The Crusader. It's pure communist propaganda. And and other people don't realize as well is that communists, they will get their revolution, and they don't care who they have to hurt and what they have to do, what race of people they have to. They don't care. Even kids, they will use. So what I'm saying is, I'm splitting this up into 2 videos, but think about what I just said. I'll go deeper into it in my second video, but I'm going to start putting these out regularly. And if you want to know more, then give me a follow on X and TikTok or Facebook, and you'll know more about the Communist Party, who call themselves Democrats and have duped you into decades for voting for them.